One Belt, One Road, the South Asia trip of the ambassadors of culture from China to spread the Buddha-dharma around the world. Light of wisdom from the Buddha shine through the universe. Witness the dawn and the dusk on the Ganges, let the heart be filled with lights of the blessings. Legend has it, during the time of the ancient, the Ganges was troubled with floods. Thereupon, the god Shiva came to the foothills of the Himalayas and caught the falling river in his hair to channeling the flow into thousands of lesser streams. From then on, the river Ganges had transformed into the Ganga, a place for the Indian people to wash away their sins and impurities, as well as a place for the Hindu believers to end cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. To thank the god Shiva, Hindu believers had performed the Agni Puja daily in the evening for thousands of years along the banks of the Ganges in dedication to the Lord Shiva. Be it rain or hail, the ritual had never stopped. On the evening of March 29, 2015, the Vajra master金珂玄雷and his disciples was invited to participate in the Ganga Aarti. The Dutch Wemad Ghat was filled with light and people. Candles and incense smokes surrounded the Ghat. Priests circled the Aarti lamps and the yak-tail fans to worship the Ganges with fire, ether, and flowers. Head priests of the Ganga Aarti invited the master to sit in honorary seat situated in the middle of the Ghat. The master put his hands together and chanted esoteric mantras to pray for the guardians of the 28 heavens and the Lord Shiva to bless all sentient beings of the Ganges with happiness and health. On the boat ride back from the Ganga Aarti, as the cool breezes of the night brushes up from the Ganges, and the master instructed his disciples to light the oil lamps and then set them free into the river Ganges. The oil lamps drifted further and further until they finally became glinting stars in the waves of the Ganges. The master told his disciples, the oil lamp you had just let into the Ganges represented that each of you had let the light of Bodhi from your heart in the Ganges. The mind is the God, and the God exists in the mind. If you're not ashamed of your mind, then you will have nothing to be ashamed of in front of the gods. India is a religious-free country and also a nation with great temperament. All of you must always remember the 1,000-year-old tradition of the Ganga Aarti is the Indian people's way of showing veneration and gratitude to the gods. After hearing the master's words, Professor Bonit Singh Ajasatru said,
"The very existence of India relies on spirituality, and those who have no faith would never be able to truly understand India. In the whole of our life, faith is the most important matter in our lives. Everyone must search for their spiritual guru. It is only when you know how to love your spiritual guru could you really know how to better love your relatives and your country. Those people without a faith are like undutiful sons who don't respect their own parent. So naturally they became like orphans, going through life without the guidance from parents. Because these people don't follow any precepts or rule, just go about living life as they are pleased. They tend to cause chaos in society. Therefore, they are considered as the low caste, the untouchables. In our religion, they are believed to be reborn in our realm from the 3 evil realms. A harmonious society could only be reached if we truly try to help them by influence their minds, purify their hearts, and use adversity to govern their actions."
Another Indian, Mr. Sumit Singh, who grew up in Bodhi Gaya, said there are 4 important things we must achieve in our lifetime. The first is to live in Varasani. The second is to drink the Ganges water. The third is to worship the Lord Shiva. And the last is to pay respect for a sage. Out of these 4 things, paying respect to a sage is considered the most extraordinary event. And it is also the hardest to achieve because sages are extremely rare to find. Sometimes centuries could go by without the presence of even one sage. Only a sage could guide the way for us to end the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. We believe it is a supreme honor to hear the voice of a sage, to witness the sight of a sage, to touch the feet of a sage, and even more, so if we could be blessed with just a single drop of nectar spread by a sage. We believe if we could be honored with such blessing, for 3 future lives we will not be reborn in the evil realms. The Master continued to say, you must always use water from the Ganges to wash away the impurities in your mind. If you can feel the purification power of the Ganges, you will be able to receive the blessings of the nectar. If you only saw the Ganges as some dirty water, the blessings you receive will be dirty as well. To truly purify the bad deeds from all of your lives in the past and present, you must wash away the ignorance and pride in your own heart to reveal the pure and clean body nature deep within. In the age of Mapo, sentient beings concentrate their lives on delusions and empty dreams. They don't believe in karma. They don't respect those who are kind and good. I hope all of you will strive to be a true disciple of the Buddha. Don't just act like one. Everything is governed by the law of cause and effect. I hope you will all obey your master and practice with diligence. Act in accordance to the 6 parameters and to strive on tirelessly on the path to enlightenment. Yakuso. The Master continued to say, the key in practice the Buddha-dharma is to know yourself, to control your own life, to always have the heart-body, to firmly root the Buddha-dharma in your soul, and to find the complete Buddha nature deep within you. You must believe karma, birth, sickness, death, and suffering are all natural parts of life, which are also the fate for a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Even with infinite wealth, no one could escape death. No amount of money in the world could buy birth or death. Joy from material gains would never satisfy the emptiness left by the lack of spiritual pursuit. The will for material gains and wealth should be part of your life, but the more important matter in life should be to strive for spiritual wealth and having life values based on faith. All the matters and things in the world is subject to impermanence. No one could have them all. I hope you will leave some for human beings in the generations to come. You bring nothing with you when you were born, and take nothing with you when you die. It is all emptiness. Wealth can become disastrous, passion can turn into hatred, life is impermanent, everything is impermanent. Contentment in itself is fortune. Those who does not feel contentment will never be able to truly fortunate. They may have all the monies in the world, but they are still poor. They hustle and bustle through life without a real purpose. A chase after what seems to be real will come back empty-handed. A chase after what seems to be unreal will come back fully loaded. A loss may be a gain in disguise, and the gain may have really been lost. The life of a human being is filled with confusion and bewilderment, a life of fear. Life is limited by time. I hope you will use this limited time to find a way to an infinite form of life. To be born as human is not easy. To encounter Buddha-dharma as a human is rare. To be touched by esoteric Buddha-dharma is even rarer. And to witness the power of higher knowledge is extremely rare. Devoted believers of Buddhism who are determined in practicing are hard to find in this day and age. But those who use practicing Buddhism as a cover to gain fame and fortune are too numerous to enumerate. Without being truly awakened, people will be blindly attached to wealth, power, selfishness, greed, aversion, and ignorance. These are the evils of a human being. It may not be written in black and white, but from the moment you were born, you had signed a contract with suffering and death. If one is ignorant, they will be lost in suffering and turmoil forever, going through life with real aims and unable to find freedom. I hope you will find your beliefs in the Buddha-dharma, to reach for the deep wisdoms of the sutras, to have infinite wisdoms, to always have the heart-body, to act in the benefits of the nation and other people, to fight the fate in your destiny, to let go of ignorance, to practice with diligence, and to accumulate good merits daily. After hearing the teachings of the Master, Professor Binod Singh said,
In India, we consider Mahasiddhas as national treasures. They will be respected and revered by kings and people alike. The Emperor Ashoka was ruthless, cruel during his early reign. But after hearing the teachings of Moggalliputta Tisha, he vowed to never kill anyone again. Having felt profound sorrow and regret, the emperor asked the venerable monk to become his guru. To show his respect and devotion, the emperor prostrated by licking the foot of the venerable monk with his tongue and then carried the monk on his back all the way onto his ship. The same way in ancient South India, one of the king believed in an evil religion and discriminated against Buddhists. Having heard of this king, Nagarjuna told himself, if you don't want to take care of the tree at its root, then the branches of the tree will grow bigger and bigger. And if the king cannot be converted, then the Buddha-dharma will never flourish or propagate it in his kingdom. Therefore, in order to convert the king, Nagarjuna recruited himself to become general of the king's army. He was very successful in controlling the soldiers, so the king wanted to reward him. The king asked, "Who is this general?" His steward replied, "We don't know what he wants, Your Majesty. He didn't eat the imperial food, he didn't take his pay either, yet he is mighty and virtuous, surpassing all we have seen before. But he doesn't take pride in his achievements and doesn't care about power either." This raised the king's curiosity. So the king called Nagarjuna forth and asked, "Who are you?" Nagarjuna replied, "I am the perfect wise man." The king was shocked. A perfect wise man is extremely rare in all of history. What can you do to prove you are a perfect wise man? Nagarjuna replied, "I can answer all of your questions." The king hesitated for a long while and finally asked, "What is happening in heaven?" Nagarjuna said, "The asuras are fighting in heaven." Seeing the king was lost in his answer, Nagarjuna said, "No words could be more convincing than seeing the fact." So Nagarjuna used his power of higher knowledge to open the heavenly eyes of the king, his court, and the Brahmin priest, so they could see the asuras are really fighting in heaven. The king knows for sure now a sage was among them in front of him, so he devoted himself to be the disciple of Bodhisattva Nagarjuna, and his whole kingdom received the teachings of Buddha-dharma from him.
The master said Dr. Ajasatru and Mr. Singh are both kind and wise in temperament. You were descendants of the Sakya clan. Therefore, you must continue the lineage of the Dharma seed of Tathagata to propagate it and to embody it. Teachings by the master purified his disciple's heart like the cool waters of the Ganges and deeply touched the heart of followed travelers.